Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas Tardhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavatu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Kumar Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Paraha Anarpita Charin Chirat Karunayavatirna Kalau Samarpayitum Munnato Jvagarasa Swabhakti Shriyam Harihi Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Vashachi Nandana Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jagat Mangala Dvaita Mangala Gunadham Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Jarana.
Hare Krishna, we welcome all of our wonderful listeners, our dear devotees who have joined us over YouTube Live, devotees who've joined us over Facebook Live, and dear devotees who've joined us over Zoom. We welcome each and every one of you to this day 85 of Sri Gauramrita. Before we proceed, we'd like to announce and congratulate the participants for the quiz session from day 84. We have, as we said, new participants even today who have also joined us over Zoom. So, Hari Prasad Prabhu, thank you so much. Madam Amrita Radhika, Anju D, Vaijayanti Lalita Mataji, Meetanjali Pradhan Mataji, Meera Bhushan Mataji. These two devotees have been consistently doing the quiz, so we are very, very grateful to both of you. Thank you so much. And then we have Tithi Mitra Mataji, Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu, Varshana Chitra Mataji, Hari Krishna Maddali Prabhu, and dearest Ranjani Gopika Mataji. Thank you all so very much for your continuous, sincere participation in the quiz session every day. Thank you.
So today in session 85, we will continue to describe the transcendental treasure trove of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotional pastimes. Lord Gauranga's pastimes at Sri Nilachal Dham, Sri Jagannath Puri, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, how he becomes the gem of a vaishnava, and then description of the two most important verses from 100 verses composed by Sarvabhouma in glorification of Lord Gauranga. And then how Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya tries to change the words of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we will conclude today's session by describing the Phala Stuti, the benefits that we receive by listening to these transcendental pastimes of Sri Gaurahari.
So in our session yesterday, we heard how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu manifested his most transcendental, the one time only seen, the greatest Shadbhaj Mahaprabhu form, the Lord who manifested with his 6 arms, 2 arms of Lord Ramachandra, 2 arms of Lord Krishna, and 2 arms of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, one holding a sannyas danda and a water pot. So like this, the six-handed form of Shadbhuj Mahaprabhu was revealed to Sri Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya. And how Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, he becomes a Vaishnava. He is completely surrendered himself to the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And how, just like, the Ganges, just the way the Ganges is flowing from the heavenly planets down to the Kesh of Lord Shiva, and then from there, she is spouting out and she's coming and flowing. Just in that same way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composes 100 verses glorifying Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So now we will continue.
Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 6, text 208, he says, Ashru Stambha Pulaka Shveda Kampathara Hari Nache Gaye Gande Pare Prabhu Hari. Out of ecstatic love of God, the Bhattacharya, he shed tears and his body was stunned. He exhibited an ecstatic mood. He perspired, he shook, he trembled, he sometimes danced, and sometimes he chanted. Then sometimes he cried and sometimes fell down to touch the lotus feet of the Lord. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 6.2216 says, Arodhino Prabhu Kela Jagannath Darshane Darshana Korila Jagannath Shayothane.
Early one morning, the following morning, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu went to see Lord Jagannath in the temple, and he saw how Lord Jagannath was being arisen from his bed. The morning puja was going on. 217 says, Pujari ayya mala prashadanno dila prashadanno mala paya Prabhu harsha hoila.
The priest there presented him with garlands and prasadam that had been offered to Lord Jagannath. This pleased Mahaprabhu very much.
Shei prasadanno mala achale bandhiya Bhattacharya bhare aila twara yukta hoya.
Carefully tying the prasadam and garlands in a cloth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hastened to the house of Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya.
And at this time, just imagine Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu has taken darshan, the morning darshan of Lord Jagannath, him rising up, and then taking all the Mahaprasad. He is now coming to the home of Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya. It is still very, very early in the morning. And as soon as Sri Gaura Hari arrived at the Bhattacharya's house, a little before sunrise, it was not even sunrise yet. Just at that time, the Bhattacharya was arising from his bed also, because Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya was a little elderly person. And after the entire previous day of the overload dose of Shadbhuj Mahaprabhu and everything, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya was totally, in ecstasy. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami continues to describe Krishna Krishna Sputa Kohi Bhattacharya Jagila Krishna Nama Shuni Prabhura Ananda Vadila.
As Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya just arose from the bed, he distinctly chanted, Krishna, Krishna. Lord Chaitanya was very pleased to hear him chant the holy name of Krishna. And then the Bhattacharya, he offered a carpet for the Lord to sit upon. And both of them sat there. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the prasadam and placed in the hands of Bhattacharya.
And at that time, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya had not even washed his mouth. He had not even taken his bath nor finished his morning duties. But nonetheless, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was there, and he was offering the prasadam of Lord Jagannath to Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya. So Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, without any hesitation, accepted the prasadam, and he quoted a few verses from the Padma Purana to validate his action. This is what Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya said.
Shushkam prayushitam vapi nitam vaduradeshataha prapti matrena bhoktavyam natra kala vicharana. Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya said, one should eat the Mahaprasadam of the Lord immediately upon receiving it, even though it may have dried up, stale, or brought from a distant country. One should consider neither time nor place and honor it immediately. Na desha niyamastatra, na kala niyamastata, praptamannam dhrutam shishtai, bhoktavyam harirabravi. The prasadam of Lord Krishna is to be eaten by gentlemen as soon as it is received. There should be no hesitation. There are no regulative principles concerning time and place. This is the order of the Supreme Personalities of Godhead. These are some verses that Sarvabhouma quoted from Sri Padma Purana.
And then Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he continues to describe Dekhi anandita hoila Mahaprabhu Raman Prema Vishta hoya Prabhu Koila Lingam.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to see this. He became ecstatic in love of Godhead and embraced Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya. Aji mora purna hoila sarva bhilash sarvabhoumera hoila mahaprasade vishwas.
Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu says that I think that today all my desires have been fulfilled. Why? Because I see that Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya has acquired such great faith in the Mahaprasadam of Lord Jagannath. So this is what pleases the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must understand what is actually the mood of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. By his dealings with such confidential associates, Lord Chaitanya is teaching all of us how we must also respect and treat Mahaprasadam when it is presented in front of us. This is the exact mood. Not in a mood to imitate the Lord or his devotees, but in the mood to follow in the footsteps of these great souls is the purpose of our life. And this actually was the turning point in Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya's life. When Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu uttered these words that we just heard, that today I have, I'm feeling so wonderful that all my desires have been fulfilled. Mahaprabhu said, because Sarvabhouma has developed great faith in the Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. So this was the turning point, very, very specifically, that is described by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami as the turning point in Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya's great devotional life starting ahead.
Chaitanya Charana Vine Nahi Jane Bhakti Vinu Shastrera Arana Kare Vyakhan.
From that day forward, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya did not know anything but the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And from that day, he could explain the revealed scriptures only in accordance with the process of pure bhakti, pure devotional service.
Now, out of the 100 verses that were composed by Sri Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya in glorification of Lord Gauranga, Sarvabhouma Shataka, out of that, 2 of them are considered to be very, very important.
So in text 250 of the Madhya Leela chapter 6, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says
Nijakrita dui shloka likhiya talapate Prabhu ke diha boli dila Jagadananda hate. Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya then composed two verses on the leaf of a palm tree and giving the palm leaf to Jagadananda Prabhu. Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya requested him to deliver it to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu sthane aila duhe prasada patri laya Mukunda dotta patri nila tarahate paya. Jagadananda and Damodar then returned to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bringing him both the prasadam and the palm leaf on which the verses were composed. But Mukunda Datta took the palm leaf from the hands of Jagadananda before he could deliver it to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Mukunda Datta copied the two verses on the wall outside the room of Lord Chaitanya. And after this, Jagadananda took the palm leaf from Mukunda Datta and delivered it to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
There's a very important reason why Mukunda Datta did this. Because externally, all the devotees, they knew the mood of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which we will understand now. Immediately, we will understand why Mukunda Datta wrote down the verses before it was actually presented to Lord Chaitanya. It is said that as soon as Gauranga Mahaprabhu read the two verses, he immediately tore up the palm leaves. However, all the devotees were benefited by the very, very devotional act of Mukunda, that they read the verses on the outside wall and they all kept them within their hearts. They memorized these verses, which are so, so beautiful. Out of the 100 verses that was composed by Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, these two verses are like the jewel. So this is what Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes these verses to be. The first of these two verses is.
So please sing along with us. These are very important verses written by Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, transcribed by Mukunda Datta on the walls, so that all devotees who are leaving the house can actually recite this in glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and be benefited by this. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shiksharthameka Purusha Purana Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Kripam Buddhiryastam Aham Prapadye. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet.
Yeah. Now the second verse is.
Kalanashtam bhakti yogam nijamya pradushkartum Krishna Chaitanya nama avirbhutastasya padarvinde garham garham liyatam chitta bringa. Let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has just now appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach the ancient system of devotional service to himself. This system had almost been lost due to the influence of time.
Jai. So we can see here in this slide that the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is there, and little calf, little Gomata is also there, right next there. But we see on the left-hand corner bottom is the Bhringa, the bumblebee. And then next to it, we see Shri Shri Mayapur Radha Madhava from Mayapur. He's dressed in chandan like a bumblebee. And that is how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is appearing, taking on the beautiful mood of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. And this is what Sri Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya is praying in this second verse, that let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, be attracted and take shelter at the lotus-like feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is how we see how Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya became such an ardent devotee, an ardent practitioner of Bhakti Yoga, of devotional service. So one day, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, it is explained by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in text 259 of chapter 6, Madhya Leela, that Akodino Sarvabhouma Prabhu age aila, namaskara kori shloko parite lagila.
One day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and after his offering his obeisances, he began to recite a verse. He began to quote one of Lord Brahma's prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam in the Brahma Vimohan Leela. After that, when Brahma came out of his Vimohan, came out of his illusion, he spoke this beautiful verse. Tattenu kampa susamishamano gunjanavatmakritam vipakam ritvagva purve vidadhanamaste jive tayo bhakti pade sadaiva. Which means one who seeks your compassion and thus tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions due to karma of his past deeds, who engages always in your devotional service with his mind, words, and body, and who always offers obeisances unto you, is certainly a bona fide candidate for becoming your unalloyed devotee. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya told him, this verse, the last line says, Jiveta yo mukti pade sadai bhak in Srimad Bhagavatam. But I don't like the word mukti pade. It should be bhakti pade sadai bhak, one who is always grateful to the Lord. He is the real, he deserves bhakti, not just mukti. Why is it says mukti pade sadai bhak, and he scratched the word mukti and changed it to bhakti? Now this is very, very significant, because Mayavadis, they are after mukti, liberation. This is what Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya was. Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya was one of the biggest Mayavadis, that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, that Brahman is the ultimate and the personality is illusion. And the ultimate goal of life for them is mukti. And here, when the same Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya saw the word mukti in Srimad Bhagavatam, he wanted to scratch it and say bhakti. This is the extent of transformation of Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, not just externally, but internally, deep within. He was so much influenced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's purity, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, that it transformed him from within. So when he scratched Mukti Pade and he said Bhakti Pade, he recited this verse by saying, Jiveta yo Bhakti Pade Sadai Bhak. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what did you just say? You said Bhakti Pade. But the verse in Bhagavatam says, Mukti Pade. What is your intention? Why did you change Mukti Pade from Bhagavatam to Bhakti Pade?
And then Sarvabhouma replied, he said, the awakening of pure love of Godhead, which is the result of devotional service, far surpasses that, liberation from material bondage. For those who are averse to devotional service, merging into the impersonal Brahman effulgence is actually a punishment, my dear Lord.
And he said that because the lowest form of mukti is Sayujya Mukti, when one merges into the Brahman of the Lord. And when the soul is liberated from this bondage of birth, old age, disease, and death, and merges into the Brahman, yes, there is no birth, there is no old age, there is no miseries. He's liberated from the miseries, but there is no happiness. It's like the soul is just there, neither happy nor sad, just in a constant state in Brahman.
Just peace.
Just peace. The soul is Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. And in Brahman, only the Sat feature is realized. Only the eternal feature is realized. The soul's conscious and Ananda, blissful nature cannot be realized. And so the soul, that's why Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya says that merging is a kind of punishment for devotees who have experienced the bliss of bhakti, that Ananda. For them to go into Brahman and only realize the Sat feature and not the Chit and Ananda feature is like the greatest punishment. And that's what he was saying. This is a great punishment that is being offered. Actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then explains in great detail why this is not correct. You should not change the scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam says Mukti Pade. You should not change it. Just keep it Mukti Pade, but understand the deeper meaning of what Mukti actually means.
And to explain this, Srila Prabhupada gave a wonderful analogy. Srila Prabhupada says that if we have a scale of happiness, there is negativity, there is -1, -2, -3, -4, and then there is 0. But above 0 is +1, +2, +3, +4, like that. So the material, those of us who are in the material pangs, in the material mundane level, we are in the negative scale of happiness. We are not experiencing any happiness. For us, the mitigation of suffering, we call that as happiness. When there is no suffering, we say, oh, we are very happy because we are not suffering anymore. But we are not even experiencing what happiness actually could be because we are in the negative scale. The impersonalists, the Mayavadis, when they get liberation, for them it is like 0. Reaching that 0 platform, which is neither experiencing any positivity nor experiencing any negativity. But there is the scope of positive happiness, which can be found in spiritual bliss, in Vaikuntha. This is what Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is trying to explain. And Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya is saying, this is what I understood from you, Mahaprabhu, that we have to go beyond this 0. We have to go to the positive happiness. And why are you saying it is wrong? It's not wrong. It's correct. It should be Bhakti Pade, not Mukti Pade.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, the word Mukti Pade has a different meaning. Is another meaning. Mukti Pada directly refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one who has the lotus feet, whose lotus feet can award liberation. That Mukti Pade Sadai Bhak that is saying that all kinds of liberation exist under the lotus feet, Pade, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is known as Mukti Pada. Here, one meaning of Mukti Pada could be the position. Pada means position of Mukti. But here, Lord Chaitanya says the Pada has a different meaning. Pada is position, but pada is also the lotus feet. And so instead of taking mukti and pada separately, separate words, take it as mukti pada, the one whose lotus feet awards all liberation. So that actually refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So don't change the scriptures like this. And then he explained that there are actually 5 kinds of liberation, 5 kinds of mukti. There is Sayujya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Sarishti, Salokya Mukti, and Samipya Mukti. These are the 5 different kinds of liberation. And yes, the highest kind of liberation is where we are actually serving in the personal association of the Lord. And the lowest kind of mukti is Sayujya Mukti, where the soul is merged into the Brahman.
Yeah.
And so that way he explained that Mukti Pada in the other way also is valid. But internally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was extremely pleased with Sarvabhouma, understanding his motivation, understanding what level of transformation has happened under him. And he, with great pleasure, immediately embraced Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya very firmly. And he said, that very person who has been accustomed to reading and teaching Mayavad philosophy is now hating the word mukti. This is possible only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, they are so merciful. Krishna is so kind. Krishna is so merciful. To illustrate this, we are going to listen to one very sweet pastime, which we may have heard so many times before, but here it is again, presented in a different light.
So we all know how the 4 Kumaras, they actually were Brahmavadis. They were not Mayavadis. Mayavadis are those who think that Brahman, the impersonal Brahman, is the source of the person Krishna. Whereas Krishna says that I am the source of the impersonal Brahman. But Mayavadis think opposite. Brahmavadis, they understand that Krishna is the source of the impersonal Brahman. But they say what to do. I know Krishna is the source. Krishna is higher than the impersonal Brahman, but I am attracted to that impersonal form of the Lord. So they are not offensive. Brahmavadis are not offensive. Mayavadis are offensive. But Brahmavadis, they're saying, I'm not at that devotee level. I'm at a level where I'm attracted to Brahman. I'm not yet attracted to Bhagavan. But I accept theoretically that yes, Bhagavan is supreme. And so the 4 Kumaras were actually Brahmavadis, and they were great saints who had themselves voluntarily had the power to not grow beyond 5 years of age, because after some years of age, then all different kinds of worldly desires start manifesting in our mind. They said, we don't even want to grow up. They were actually very, very elderly sages, but their bodies did not grow more than 5 years of age. And they were at the Brahman platform. They were always focusing and meditating on the Brahman. And they went to the spiritual world. They knew that spiritual world, the Vaikuntha planets, are beyond the Brahman, and that you can go there, but they were just not attracted to that. They were attracted to Brahman. But still, one time they went to the doors of Vaikuntha, and there the 2 guards, Jai and Vijay, were guarding.
And when they were guarding, they saw these 4, unclothed children, 4 of these unclothed children coming and saying, hey, let us in, we want to go into Vaikuntha. And then the guard said, hey, stop, who are you? You children, you are not allowed into Vaikuntha. Where's your Vaikuntha passport? Show me your passport. You don't have anything, you cannot enter. And then the 4 sages, these 4 Kumaras, they were extremely angered. And then they just started saying, you do not know who we are? We are actually the sons of Brahma, and this is who we are. They started introducing themselves, and then they actually started saying that, because of your offense to us, we are going to curse you. See here how they are saying, now we're going to curse you. You don't know who we are. We're going to curse you. We're going to punish you. We're going to punish you.
So Lord Vishnu, from inside, he could perceive the commotion that was happening at the doorstep, and seeing that, perceiving and understanding that his two devotees, Jai and Vijay, are in trouble, are going to be cursed. He was sitting very royally. He immediately changed his stance and started running towards the entrance of the Vaikuntha, where this whole commotion was taking place. And Garuda was actually running after the Lord. Generally, the Lord just jumps on Garuda and Garuda takes him wherever he wants. Garuda knows where the Lord wants to go and he just goes along with it. The Lord doesn't even have to tell. But this time, Garuda understood where the Lord is going, but he was astonished. My dear Lord, why are you not taking my services? Why are you just running on your own? And Vishnu did not reply. He was just going on running faster than Garuda could fly.
And Garuda was so eager. My Lord, I'm here. Please jump on my back. Because the way Garuda always serves the Lord is this way. That Garuda is always there. Lord Vishnu never walks. What to speak of running? He's always on the back of Garuda. But then Lord Vishnu just came running, and he just came. And then as soon as he came at the gate of Vaikuntha,
the scent from his lotus feet, scent of the tulasi from his lotus feet entered the nostrils of these four Kumaras who were Brahmavadis, who were just attracted to Brahman. And as soon as the scent of the lotus tulsi, of the lotus feet of the Lord entered the nostrils of the four Kumaras, they immediately became attracted to the Bhagavan aspect of the Lord. And immediately they were elevated to the position of a pure devotee.
Hari Hari Bol, this is the potency, the tulasi from the lotus feet of the Lord, which is mixed with kesar, with saffron, with camphor, with sandalwood pulp.
And the scent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself.
So all of that fragrance entered into the nostrils of the four Kumaras, and we can see how, look at these little babies, how they're just helplessly they're getting pulled like a magnet. They're getting pulled to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And they're just so captivated by Lord Vishnu. And Garuda is coming from the back. He's just about to catch up. And Garuda is so depressed that, oh, my Lord, I could not serve my Lord. What is this?
And then when the Lord was inquiring that what is the commotion all about? Can you please tell me? It is described that Lord Vishnu put his hand over Garuda's shoulder. And while putting his hand over Garuda's shoulder, then he started asking. And it was Lord Vishnu's way of consoling Garuda that don't worry, it's not about you. I am so eager to come and protect my devotees, Jai and Vijay, that I didn't even think of coming on you, but I just ran. This is the level of attraction of the Lord towards his devotees. We say that devotees are so attracted towards the Lord, but the Lord is also attracted to the devotional service of the devotees. And Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati, my devotee shall never perish. As soon as his devotees were on the cusp of being cursed, he immediately ran and appeared there to save them. And at the same time, he was doing 3-4 things at the same time. At the same time, he was also consoling Garuda. by not saying anything to him, but by just keeping his hand on his shoulder, saying, "Don't worry, I'm with you. You're good."
Your services are not, neglected. You are my very, very dear servitor. But you should understand, I came here just because I wanted to take care of Jaya and Vijay. So therefore, he just, leaned on Garuda, stood next to Garuda, and he started speaking to the four Kumaras in this way.
And in this way, of course, the four Kumaras then had cursed that either they have to go to the material world, Jai and Vijay, and either they should take 3 births as demons or 7 births as devotees. And so Jai and Vijay, as they were pondering, the Lord told them, "Jai and Vijay, whatever your decision is, know that I will always be with you. If you decide to go as devotees, I will make sure some way or the other, I will be with you as well. And if you decide to go as demons, I will be with you." And so Jai Vijay said, "My dear Lord, we cannot stay away from your devotional service for long in the Vaikuntha. So we want to go and come back soon. So let us take 3 lifetimes instead of 7 lifetimes." And so we choose 3 lifetimes as demons. And that's how they came as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Then they again came as Shishupal and Dantavakra. And they took these 3 births, and they also took a 4th birth with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Jagai and Madhai. So these different births, but in each of these births, the Lord came to give his association to them, even though as they were enemies of the Lord, but the Lord came and he comes only with, even if they are demons, actually they are devotees. So he still came, even as demons, he came to them. This is the merciful nature of the Lord. Here, if you see, if sometimes we give by our intention, we may commit offenses, and sometimes by our action, we may commit offenses. If we commit offense by action and not by intention, then the Lord forgives our action. If we commit offense in our intention to the Lord, but not by action, then he forgives our intention. For example, when Putana came, her intention was bad, but her intention was to kill Krishna, but her action was nursing Krishna. So Krishna gave the benefit of the action and forgave the intention of Putana. In this case, Jai Vijay, their intention was correct. They wanted to make sure that they are doing the service to the Lord properly and not allow any just 4 kids coming from somewhere into Vaikuntha. But their action was incorrect because they didn't know who the 4 sages were. So the Lord forgave their action and gave them his association for the benefit of their good intention. And then we can see how forgiving the Lord is in so many different ways. We were just discussing that we may have neglected the Lord so many times.
Like, say, for example, if someone mistreats us, if someone, tells some horrible words to us, they just neglect us, they don't treat us well, what do we think? We immediately say, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to them. The way they are treating me, I will also not talk to them. I will also neglect them." But let us stop, think, and imagine that we have been neglecting Krishna for millions and millions of lifetimes, not just this one lifetime, but millions of lifetimes we have been neglecting Krishna. If Krishna also holds a grudge against us, then where will we go? But Krishna is so merciful, so merciful. There's no end to his mercy. Karuna Sindhu. He's the ocean of mercy. Ocean has no end. So he is the one who gives unlimited mercy.
And unlimited forgiveness.
And he
It is
forgives
said,
us.
yes, and it is said that love means unlimited forgiveness. That's what the Lord says. And that's what makes him attractive to the devotees, because he's forgiving. If someone is very strong and that person is known to keep grudges, no one will go near that person. That person will be attractive, but no one will go near. My God, if he's very strong, if I do anything wrong, he's not going to leave me.
If he gets angry, that's it, I'm done.
Or if someone is very powerful and very beautiful and has very strong at the same time, but he does not have this quality of forgiveness, then people will avoid going to him. So if Krishna, he has all the 6 great qualities, all beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all wisdom, all renunciation, all fame, everything. And if he would not have this quality of forgiveness, we would not have even attempted to perform devotional service to the Lord. Oh my God, a little mistake happens and I'm done for. I cannot go anywhere because he is the greatest with everything. But because the Lord is forgiving, that is what makes all these qualities attractive to us, to approach him without any fear, but with awe and reverence. If our intention is bad and action is good, he forgives intention. If our intention is good, action is bad, he forgives the action. What if our intention and action both are bad?
What happens then?
What? Then the devotee has to beg forgiveness from the Lord, has to take the initiative. He does not automatically forgive. But if the intention and action both are bad, he has to take the initiative, and then the Lord will forgive, just like he did for Brahma, just like he did for Indra. Their intention and action both were not good, against the Lord. But if our intention and action is bad towards his devotees, then just like he had sent the chakra to Durvasa Muni when he offended Ambarish Maharaj, he said, you have to go and beg forgiveness for my devotee. I cannot do anything. But he was still willing to help. He gave a path that, look, don't come to me, go to my devotee and he will forgive. Don't worry, he will forgive. So in all cases, he's very forgiving. But we should know in what way we should ask forgiveness and beg for his mercy.
So this is how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is giving us these esoteric subject matters in such wonderful, palatable way, because Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself, coming with the mood of Srimati Radharani, who is the most merciful, the most compassionate, the most loving mother, who accepts us for who we are, does not judge us. And she will be able to purify us from the level that we are at, and will be able to take us to the highest platform of devotional service. That is Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says, considering Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, his life and soul, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur recites their glories in the form of this beautiful Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chandijan Vrindavana Dashata Chu Pada Jugegan. And anyone who faithfully hears this pastime, who derives joy from listening to this pastime, will indeed be blessed with Lord Chaitanya's direct association. It is said that one who listens very, very sincerely, who hears the glories of this transformation of Sri Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, will just swim in the ocean of devotional love. And such a sincere listener who tries to imbibe this mood of the Lord and the spiritual master becomes perfectly happy and will definitely see the beautiful moonlight face of Lord Chaitanya directly. Shri Gaurarai, kono kono bhagavan, dekhi bare pai. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are being performed even now. Whoever is blessed by the Lord to see can see, others cannot see. Ekhane rohila grantha, Amrita lahari, godan bhore ekbar, bolo Hari Hari, Hari Hari,
Hari Hari.
So the japa tip for today is the Lord reciprocates with the dependence of the devotee. Just like we saw in the Jai Vijay pastime, they were completely dependent on the Lord, and the Lord came for their protection. If we want full protection, we must surrender fully.
Just like Draupadi. Draupadi Devi, when she was insulted, she was dragged into the assembly court. She went to everybody, her husbands, her powerful 5 husbands. She went to all of them. None of them could help her. She went to the king Dhritarashtra. She went to Pitama Bhishma. Nobody could help. She tried herself. She couldn't help herself. And that's when she just called out with full dependence. She called out, "Hey Govinda, hey Krishna." And Krishna, listening to this, immediately Krishna came running and he started supplying unlimited amount of sari to protect Draupadi.
And in Nectar of Devotion, it is said that Krishna reveals his heart, why he actually came to help Draupadi. He says, this call from Draupadi, Krishna says in Nectar of Devotion, it is quoted, this call from Draupadi has put me in her debt. The dependence with which she's calling me, when she's dependent on no one else, just me, that indebtedness is gradually increasing in my heart. So when we become dependent on the Lord, we feel, sometimes devotees feel, oh, if I be dependent on the Lord, will I be giving trouble to the Lord? I should try to fix my own problems myself. Why should I give trouble to the Lord? But if we should try to fix ourselves, but internally, we should be dependent on the Lord, not on our abilities to fix the problems. We should employ all the abilities, but our dependence should be on Krishna. And then if we just sincerely call out, oh Krishna, please accept me. Please allow me to serve you. I'm yours. Then Krishna will never forget us and never let us go. So when we are chanting japa, our mind is going here and there. Yes, we must put in the effort to bring the mind back. But at the same time, we should understand that Krishna is Rishikesha, one who is the controller of the senses. And so we should, while we are struggling to bring our mind back, we should pray to Krishna while chanting, please, Krishna, I'm completely dependent on you. All these attempts I'm doing just to show you, please help me. Please allow me to serve you. I am yours. These words, I am yours, immediately triggers Krishna to come to us. In Ramayana, Lord Ram declares, Sakrideva prapanno yas navasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. He says that one who just surrenders to me, just by saying, Tavasmi, I am yours. Tavasmi iti chayachate. Immediately I award him what? Abhayam. I award him fearlessness, and I give him shelter eternally. So while we are chanting, let's pray, Krishna, I'm yours. Please help me, allow me to engage me in your loving service. Please relieve me from this service of Maya, this desire for sense gratification. And if this is the mood in which we can chant, this mood of dependence on the Lord, we will immediately see reciprocation from the holy name.
Hari 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 Bol Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. So today's Kirtan, we are going to be dedicating to our very dearest AJ. We are dedicating it to AJ's family, to Nikki, to Amrita Radhika. And we also dedicate the Kirtan today to our very, very dearest sister Kajal, who has joined us after a very long time. Kajal, welcome to the call. We welcome you over the Zoom platform. And we are dedicating today's Kirtan for the very speedy recovery of your dear father, who is like father to us as well. So this Kirtan is dedicated for you, Kajal, for your father.
And we remember his pens, and we keep using the pens that he so lovingly sent
for
us.
us. So we thank you so much, Kajal, for that. And also we dedicate today's Kirtan for Sukriti Mataji. We dedicate Kirtan for Anjali's family, for her Prabhu, for many other devotees who have been suffering in different ways, or people in general who are suffering in different ways. We dedicate Kirtan for them. And we also dedicate Kirtan for anyone who must be celebrating their birthdays, anniversaries. We wish you a very happy birthday. We wish you a very happy anniversary. And we dedicate the Kirtan for all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Siddhanta. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Ekata. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Tonight's Kirtan we also dedicate to our very, very dearest brother, His Grace Mahavaraha Prabhu, who is a very dedicated and one of the chief secretaries of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He is recovering after a surgery, so we wish him and pray for him for a speedy recovery, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mahavaraha Prabhu ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Jai Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ji, Jai Pad Ki, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Jai. Hare Krishna. Jai. So before we open up the lines, here's the quiz questions for today. First, what did Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya quote about Mahaprasad from Padma Purana? Second, what are the two most important verses from the composition of Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya that was spoken? Third, what is the verse that Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya quote from Srimad Bhagavatam?
Fourth, what is the reason given by Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya for changing the word Mukti Pade to Bhakti Pade?
What is another meaning given by Lord Chaitanya for Mukti Pade?
And sixth, what is the Phala Stuti of listening to these transcendental pastimes? Hari Bol, thank you so much, dearest Ranjani Gopika, for these wonderful quiz questions. We are so grateful to you.
So we can open our lines for questions. Keshavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances unto your lotus feet. Very wonderful class, Mataji, Prabhuji. First, I want to share yesterday's one. Prabhuji, yesterday I liked the bottle and cap narration, so good. And I was at night, I was asking Ditya and my Prabhu also. They were also thinking what might be the answer. It was so good. They took almost 5-10 minutes, but almost they came nearer. But it was so good actually to share in our Bhakti Viksha members also the example. So good, Prabhu.
Yeah. Well,
And
please,
today,
I was glad that you liked the example, but please pray so we can also implement in our lives, all of our lives as well.
yes, Prabhu, that's very important. Like, we can be always in the mood of serving mood only, serving devotees only. Then we can be under the lotus feet of Krishna all the time. Yes, Prabhu, that's
Please pray
true.
for us is what we are praying for.
Prabhu, I'm not qualified, Prabhu. Because of your prayers, your blessings only, whatever I'm doing, it's all because of you. All credit goes to you only, Prabhu, you and Mataji. Prabhu, my question is that today in class you are explaining about the mukti, like about the mukti. And you said mukti pada, like I didn't understood that one properly. So, pada means Krishna's lotus feet. You said one, and again you said the level also. That I didn't understood properly, Prabhu. Please, if you could make me understand, I'm so fallen.
Yeah, Mukti Pada means position. Pada, that he has this Pada. This
Padvi.
Padvi, Pad means position. So Mukti Pade means the position of liberation. Pada means the lotus feet, but Pada also means the position. He, like we say that Pradhan Mantri ka Pad means the post of the Prime Minister. Rashtrapati ka Pad mila unhe, that he got the position, the post of. So Mukti Pade means the post of Mukti, the position of Mukti, of liberation. But Lord Chaitanya explained that Mukti Pade, take it together. Mukti Pada is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one whose lotus feet awards all kinds of liberation. And then he explained these different 5 kinds of liberation as well too.
I hope this answers your question, Keshav.
Yeah. Mataji, like just we say mukti only, right? Generally, we don't say mukti pada or mukti pade. So we need to say mukti pade.
No. It's just that this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam in 10th canto, it says that one who is, dedicating his intelligence, mind, body, everything to the lotus feet of the Lord, to the service of the Lord, then Brahmaji is saying that anyone who is doing that, then he's saying that mukti becomes such a person's rightful position.
Jivetayo mukti pade sadaipa, that one who lives like that, for that person, mukti becomes his rightful claim, his rightful position.
Rightful position. So
that it is not a matter of mercy. Then he will definitely get that position of mukti. He will definitely be liberated. But he's saying in the mukti pade as if he will definitely get the position of mukti.
So that's in the verse.
Because once you get a post, it's yours. It's like, it's not like it's given to you or you deserve it. That's why you are at that post. So like that, he was saying, it becomes his rightful position. No one can take away that right from him to have that position of mukti. If someone, always tolerates all kinds of troubles and still is grateful to the Lord for all of that, expresses thanks to the Lord. Thank you, Krishna. This is for my purification. And then Krishna becomes so pleased that mukti becomes his rightful claim.
That's what Lord Brahma is praying in this particular verse of Tatteno Kampasa Sumikshamano.
But Lord Chaitanya gave another meaning to it.
Instead of, he said mukti, because Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya is saying, why mukti? Such a person should get bhakti, not mukti.
So
that bhakti becomes his rightful claim. Mukti is something very small.
Right.
It's like punishment. That's what Sarvabhouma is saying. So Lord Chaitanya is saying that yes, that is true, but nonetheless, you cannot change the words of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But therefore, Gauranga Mahaprabhu gave a different meaning to the word mukti pada.
Not a different, another meaning.
Another meaning. So hope that clears your understanding.
Yes, Mataji. It's very, now I understood, Mataji, actually. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Krishna. Kajal, Hare Krishna.
Oh, Hare Krishna. So nice to see you. And this is Radhika. So we wanted to say thank you. Radhika, say Hare Krishna. She's shy. Thank you. Thank you so much for praying for my dad. It means a great deal. And, your prayers just matter so much for us. And, and thank you for dedicating the kirtan to him today. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And I want to send some more pens your way. I'm really, my dad's dream is to give the pens to devotees, and you're true devotees, so I'm going to be sending you more pens. Yeah. And I just wanted to share a picture with you, if you don't mind. This picture was hung up in my house in England when I was young, and I never knew who it was, where it came from. My dad got it, but he said, well, here is a picture. And I said, who is this? And he never told me, but just recently I found out who it was. So if you don't mind, can I share it with you?
Please.
Okay, sure. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. I'm not very good with technology, but let's see. Let me see. No. Turn it around. Yeah, that way. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
This is Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata.
Yes. So when this was hung up, this picture was hung up in my house in England in 1996. And I said, who are these wonderful? I don't know who it was, but I thought it was my grandparents. Having never seen my grandparents.
Yes.
And my dad said, yes, it is your grandparents.
Baby Nimai in the lap of Sachi Mata.
Yeah. And they're now in my house in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm really, really happy that just having them in my room, I feel really protected.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kajal. We really love to see you, and dearest Radhika, thank you so much.
Thank you. I did have one question.
Yes, please.
I know this is session 89. It feels like the knowledge is so vast, and sometimes, just hearing about it makes you feel like you've so much to learn, and you don't know. I don't remember half the things, right? I don't even remember what I ate today. How can I remember all of this? And I'm trying to keep up with it and trying to remember, but it seems like the knowledge is just so vast, and I feel like such a beginner all the time.
Yes, actually, this is a very nice question. And there is a verse which says that Swayam eva spuratyada ata Shri Krishna namadi na bhaved grayam indriya sevon mukhe hi jevado Swayam eva spuratyada, which means that our senses are so dull. Ata Shri Krishna namadi na bhaved grayam indriya. Our senses are so dull they cannot access the holy names.
The storehouse of Krishna's mercy, for that matter.
Yeah, and the all the knowledge that is there. But then what is the solution to this? How can we understand this knowledge, then transform it, understand it, and then apply it in our lives, and then please Krishna? How do we do that? If we don't have knowledge, then what? So it is said, Sevon mukhe hi jivado. So more than actually studying scriptures or worrying about, I don't know this and I don't know that, focus on service. Say service attitude, developing a service attitude towards the Lord and his devotees, starting from the tongue. Sevon mukhehi jiva do. Ado means to start, and jiva means tongue. Starting from the tongue. What does the tongue do? Chant the holy names, honors Krishna Prasad.
Because Srila Prabhupada always says that the tongue is the most prominent of all of the senses, because only the tongue performs two different actions. One is to taste and one is to talk, just keep talking. So if we use both of these things in Krishna's service, using the tongue in Krishna's service, by tasting only Krishna Prasad and chanting Krishna's holy names,
then what will happen? Swayam eva spurati adava. Then by performing service to the Lord, knowledge will be revealed from within our heart.
Haribo.
So we don't have to really get the information overload. We have to have a transformation overload. And that transformation, Krishna is the source of all knowledge. He knows everything. We have that source, that whole library of all knowledge within our hearts as Krishna himself. So all we have to do is please him, serve him and his devotees, starting with the tongue, but continuing on, doing all the other kinds of devotional services. Then he will reveal whatever is necessary for us. Whatever knowledge is necessary for us, he will reveal from within.
Haribo.
And the most important knowledge is at the time of death, we must remember Krishna. The conclusion of all of that knowledge is that the final exam, we are preparing for the final exam, which is at the time of death. And if we have led our life prepared well, then Krishna from within the heart will reveal himself at the time of death. Or even before that, it's not necessarily at the time of death, but that's the final exam. In between, he keeps giving pop quizzes,
Yes.
some tests, some troubles here and there, so that we can get prepared for the time of death. If during the pop quizzes we fail, then we know that final exam we are going to fail. So he gives these pop quizzes in terms of different troubles here and there, so that we can be prepared, and then see where we are. If we are not able to remember Krishna even at the time of troubles, if we are able to remember Krishna at the time of troubles, we know that we have a chance that at the time of death we can. So rather than being bogged down with all these troubles, let's take it as a preparation for the final exam. And so ultimately, let's not bother about this knowledge and that knowledge, as long as we are reading Srila Prabhupada's books as much as we can with a service attitude, chanting the holy names, serving the devotees, then
Taking Krishna Prasad.
taking Krishna Prasad, sharing whatever knowledge, little understanding we have, sharing it with others. If we are doing that, then Krishna from within the heart will take care of the rest. The proper knowledge would be revealed when we actually need it.
Haribo. Hope this answers your question, Kajal.
Yes, it does. I think when you said service to Krishna and his devotees, if you're not able to do it for his devotees, because recently, I think I've realized like my greatest service is to Radhika, and my husband. So that's like, so is that okay to be a little bit more introspective than I was before, where before I felt like I was running around doing too many things, but now I've slowed down and become a little bit more introverted. And I kind of enjoy that about myself. I like it that I'm not always talking or running after one service to another. I can't keep up, So I've decided just to sort of concentrate at home more. And is that okay? I mean, when that's not really serving a Vaishnava, right?
No, of course. Why not? That's the mistake that we tend to make, that we see that the whole world is devotees except for our family. Why? Radhika, she is a beautiful devotee. Service to her is service to Krishna. So, you are serving your husband, you're serving your daughter. That is actually service to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada always says that a happy family means a Krishna conscious family. And Krishna conscious family means that Krishna is in the center of that family. And when we are taking good care of our spouses, we are taking good care of our children and giving them Krishna Prasad, we are providing them good atmosphere where all of our Krishna consciousness is nurtured. An entire household is raising as Krishna's devotees. What better service could that be?
Quality of service is more important than the quantity of service in terms of the preparation that we were talking about.
So it is service that you are doing. So don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just need to work on my chanting a little bit more. But
Yes,
it's been the
that's
immense
very
struggle.
important. Yes, that's very important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kajal.
No, thank you. Thank you. And please continue
Hare
to pray for my
Krishna.
father. Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Bol, Radhika.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Bol,
Krishna.
thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank
Hare
you.
Bol. Anjali, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Dandavat
Jai Shri
Pranam.
Radhe. Hare Bol.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. I'm totally speechless after hearing such wonderful shloks and such beautiful narrations of the stories. Everything I have to listen to the class to absorb it more. And it was very, very too much of takeaways. But that's what I said. I have to again listen to the class, and the thing is to serve obviously the Lord, and to be like every time you say that we have to be just like that pad. Today was such a beautiful meaning of mukti pad and the pad, and it is to the next level. Otherwise, if you just read it, can just take it in that sense. But when you understand from gurus like you, so it is to the next, you really understand what does it mean. And so beautifully Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to him that yes, we don't need to, but we have to understand another level. And once we are servant of Lord and to his lotus feet, and what else we want.
Yes.
So that was such a beautiful
This
takeaway.
is all, we are all explaining based on what Srila Prabhupada and his disciples we have heard from them. So it is all coming in the parampara.
Jai.
Yes.
You
And
just
so
started repeating their words.
but remembering also, like just now Mataji said that how do you remember, when you were saying all these and saying those shlokas and everything, I said how do they remember? And today I said just don't remember anything. But then she asked you that question, and we always feel like we are just beginners. And then I said okay, the question was answered, and so beautifully you gave the explanation today. Thank you for everything, and thank you for such a beautiful bhajan, the kirtan, and dedicating to my Prabhuji and to all the devotees. Thank you from the bottom of all the heart.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
And
so much.
and Japa tip is also so wonderful. These Japa tips are like magics, which are really helping us to improve our Japas every day. And now, every day I add one tip, okay, this was a tip was given yesterday, let's include this. Now this is given. So at helplessness, everything, concentrating, now the mood of goodness, all these things are really helping us to come more closer to Krishna. And to be more thank you for everything. And tomorrow I'll ask the question because we have taken too much of your time. So I have one question, but I'll ask tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but in the end, if there's no more questions, we can come back to you. No worries, Dee. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Dee. Hare Krishna.
Shri Radhe.
Tattva Prabhu.
And one more
Hare
thing, I
Krishna.
can just add it. Just a thing.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
just
please.
also sorry. And You both look gorgeous every day, but today you are looking extremely, extremely very pretty, Bhabiji, with that band on your
Stars in
head.
the eyes of the
I was really
beholder.
admiring it. And Bhaiya also, you are also looking so graceful, so nice, both of you. Touch foot, thu thu nazar na lage. Thank you.
Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Bhakti.
Mataji, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mitanjali.
Today's class is very nice, and I like the most about the pastime of Jay, Vijay, and Kumaras. You told that we hear this pastime so many times. Sorry, Mataji, environment problem. But the pastime of Garud Prabhu, I never ever heard. Really, Mataji, the pastime of Garud Prabhu you told, and yesterday I saw your session, your Gauramrita 60 episode, where you are explaining why Mahaprabhu took sannyas from Keshav Bharati, who was from Bharati Sampradaya. I always had that doubt why he took sannyas from that Sampradaya. But you so nicely explained, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
yesterday
so
Prabhuji
much.
explaining that mercy is indirectly proportional to envy. Thank you. So nice class, Mataji Prabhuji. And how previous Mataji told, you are looking so nice. I also want to tell that thing. So nice, Mataji. Thank you.
Beauty
Hare
lies in
Krishna.
the eyes of the beholder. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Bhakti Tattva Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu and Mataji. Always, when I get the time, I hear your lectures so nicely, Advaita Prabhu and you. So, Mataji, today you have mentioned two special points about our tongue. The main function of our tongue is the taste and talking, which is very wonderful. Obviously, I want to hear more about this matter on another day. So when you will get the time, kindly tell something more about the main function of our tongue. Is first one is taste, another is also talking. And so, did you wanted to teach us about the talking means always preaching and chanting holy name of the Lord?
Well, Srila Prabhupada describes that devotees, they practice Mauna Vrata. Mauna Vrata means, that we stay silent. But does that mean that devotees don't speak? No, Srila Prabhupada clarified. Srila Prabhupada says that devotees only try to speak about Krishna and his devotees. Krishna and his devotees.
Materially more.
Material Mauna. So that's what it is.
No projalpo.
No Prabhupada.
Thank you so much for delivering so auspicious lectures, always. Hare Krishna. Carry on, Prabhu, carry on. Nanu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Mataji.
Hare
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your session, Prabhuji. Yeah, we are making you to a long time, right? We apologize for that.
Not at all. Not at all.
To be engaged in your
Yeah,
service.
it is not easy, Prabhuji and Mataji. You are sitting
We are
this bush
grateful
for a
that you
long
are
time.
tolerating us.
No, Prabhuji Mataji, don't say it like that. So we are blessed to have your association. Always. It's not for
It is
us
the
because
other way
we
around,
feel.
Prabhu. Trust us, it is the other way around.
Thank you for the question. But I like the most one. I think everything covered in the session. But I like the one right when Lord Krishna, Narayan is running out to save the devotees. So I remember that Caitanya Moksha as well as Sudama as well Pastimes. So it's very wonderful, Prabhuji and Mataji. And thank you for allowing us to sing along with you the two verse, which is written by Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya. I like that bhajan, and thank you for wonderful tips, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Thank you
pranam.
so much, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We are so grateful to you. Your example and sincerity inspires us, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Jai Guru
Jai.
Maharaj. When Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya, he composed 100 verses after seeing Shadbhuja, did he recite those to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or he just composed and kept it for himself? Because you said today he recited the two verses. So does it mean he did not recite the other verses for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
No. When Mahaprabhu gave him the Shadbhuj Darshan, so first he sang the 1,000 names, the Sahasranam of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, 1,000 names of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He first sang those, and then he started glorifying the Lord with the 100 verses. So when the Shadbhuj Mahaprabhu form was being revealed, at that time, in reciprocation to that, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya was reciting, and he, just like that, he composed those 100 verses. And then the next day, he actually wrote down these two verses, because these two were even Sarvabhauma's most favorite verses. These two verses are considered to be like the essence of these 100 verses. So therefore, he wrote it down on palm leaf, and he just wanted to present it to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, so that he could see it. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu read it, and he just tore it apart like that. But thank goodness for Mukunda that he wrote down these two special verses, because these two verses are very, very, the most special out of the 100. So to answer your question, that yes, Sarvabhouma Bhattacharya had already recited to Gauranga Mahaprabhu these verses on the day of the revelation of Sadbhuj Mahaprabhu. But this day, today, he just wrote it on the palm leaf and he presented it to Lord Gauranga.
Okay, that's nice. I got one silly question, but I got to ask you, maybe not. If you don't ask, you'll be, as you say, when you ask, you're fool only once, but if you don't ask, you're fool forever. So, like today you said, Supreme Lord, he was rushing and the Garuda was running behind. Most of the time we hear he's a Supreme Lord, he can appear and disappear in a flash. So that we have seen, he manifests himself here and there, we don't see like he has to go. I mean, when he's riding on the Garuda, it looks like, it sounds like a material thing, like we go on a car. So that's really confusing, I mean, if you have any explanation for that, please.
This is definitely not a silly question, Prabhu. It's a very profound question that you are asking. Very profound.
Well, if the Lord wants, he can manifest himself anywhere immediately. He can, just like he manifested with in the womb of Uttara, or
protecting
Abhimanyu. When Ashwatthama threw that, it's not that the Lord ran and came there. He is present in every...
Protecting Parikshit.
Yeah, protecting Parikshit. It's not like he went there. He's already present as Paramatma in every atom and the space between the atoms. He doesn't have to run from one place to another. He's there as Paramatma. He just manifests as the Paramatma right there. And that's what he saw, Maharaj Parikshit saw. And similarly, he manifests in so many different ways. When Draupadi calls, when Gajendra calls. But here, specifically with Jai Vijay, this thing is explained. This is explained by the Acharyas. It's not actually explained in the Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, it says that he held one hand on Garuda and spoke. So the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains why he held hand on Garuda. And he explains that he held a hand on Garuda, he held his hand on the shoulder of Garuda to pacify him that, don't worry, you are also in my good books. I'm not upset with you that I came without you. I came on my own. I did not take your services. It was because I was really eager to come and protect my devotee. So this is the explanation, that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives to show to us that he is so eager to help his devotee, to protect his devotee. And and this all happened in Vaikuntha. There is no time, it's not limited by time and space. So it may as well be just he manifested there, but still within that, he was hurrying very hard without, going on Garuda's back. On the other hand, I think the second part of your question was, why does he need Garuda then? It is just he is given this service to Garuda, and he's honoring Garuda's service. In the spiritual world, there is no dirt, there is no dust. But in one time in Dwarka, in the spiritual world, Rukmini Devi was brooming and cleaning the room of Krishna, for Krishna and Rukmini. And Krishna came and said, there is no dust. Why are you brooming this? And then that's when she said, my dear Lord, this is just as an act of service to you. And you will never realize how a devotee feels when they serve you. The joy of devotional service, you can only accept the service, but we perform the service, and in this service we feel so much joy. So even though there is no dust, but still to serve you, I'm doing this. And I'm grateful that you are accepting this service. So similarly, there may not be any need for Garuda to be there for the Lord, but he wants to serve the Lord in this way, and the Lord is reciprocating with his service. Not because there is a need, but because there is a reciprocation of love.
And this pastime that Lord Narayan is just coming running, it is more important than the act of Lord Narayan to come running, is the intent of Lord Narayan, that he's so eager. That's what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is trying to display through this pastime, that Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu, Krishna, he's so eager to serve his devotees. He's always there to come, and even if it means that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has to run, he is ready to do that for his devotees. So that's how wonderful and magnanimous the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Hope this answers your question, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, it was very clear. We hear the same situation when he comes to protect Gajendra. He says, he's running before the Garuda. So Garuda is trying to catch Krishna coming to save Gajendra. So every time I hear, I was wondering why, he has to run like, the human being, like a car. So this makes sense. He's just in a hurry, so he can't wait to save his devotees. So thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, we would like to request all of you to please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Advaita Kalasudha, and hit the bell icon so you can get updates on different classes and lectures that may be there. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji.
Hey,
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe Di. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.